Welcome, everybody, to another episode of MC Fireside Chats. My name is Brian Searl with Insider Perks and Modern Campground. Excited to be here with you guys for our, what is it now? It's like the June 10th. So like it's the middle. No, it's not even June 10th. My clock is wrong on my computer and says it's 6:47 p.m. So I feel like that's wrong too. I don't know what today's date is, but we're excited to be here for another show with a couple of our recurring guests. We have Jeff Hoffman, Sandy Ellingson, and then a few special guests here that are going to just go around the room and introduce ourselves briefly. I'm still out of my studio. I have a graphics card, Jeff. Like, you're a tech guy, so I feel like you'll identify with this, right? I have a graphics card that I ordered for my new computer, like a little fan that I need to put on. And it's been sitting in a warehouse in Illinois, shipped from eBay for like 2 weeks. It hasn't moved. I've never in my life encountered like a shipping thing that you can pay for where you're like, yeah, I just want that shipped to the guy that bought it, but I want it to sit in the warehouse for 2 weeks before it moves.
It's always good. That's why I bought the part, so it could sit.
Yeah, so sometime between, it's June, and now I know what date it is. It's 17th, isn't it? Because I was looking at it this morning.
Yeah.
It said the 16th to the 24th is when it was supposed to be here, but I ordered it 3 weeks ago.
Well, I just had a new one. I had my laptop that I'm actually still on, but it blew up the other day. I think the battery must have
literally blew up, or like, or you're exaggerating the excitement?
It lifted the top of the deck, the typewriter deck.
Okay.
And popped and had a nice electric sound. So I replaced everything, but it's still working. So just in case, I have backup computers running now.
Well, like, that doesn't sound very safe. So they're like remember the old Samsung phones that used to blow up every once in a while in people's pockets?
Yep.
But not as bad as that. You're safe.
Nah. Should be okay.
Computers blowing up?
I think it was the battery that popped, and I don't use it with a battery anymore anyway. So
you don't use your laptop with a battery? Oh, you just plug it in all the time?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, let's go around and introduce ourselves briefly. Jeff, why don't you start, and then we'll go around the room and introduce ourselves.
All right. Hi, my name is Jeff Hoffman, and I'm with Camp Strategy, which is based out of Sandusky, Ohio. We work exclusively in the RV, campground, and glamping area to help put owners in a better position financially and mentally.
Welcome, Jeff. Thanks for being here. Sandy, our other recurring guest.
Hello. Today, I used to just say campground advocate because I serve as a liaison between the industry and campgrounds. But as of today, I am officially the CEO of the Lamppost Foundation, which is the foundation that's going to oversee Outdoor Insights, which you'll hear a lot more about later.
Why can't we talk about it now, Sandy?
Do you want to hear about it now? The short thing is that Outdoor Insights actually connects all of our data from across all the different systems, whether it's camping information or campground or industry information, and gives us a digital dashboard that's agnostic, so no personal information is ever given away or shared. And will help us actually, I believe, rescue our industry right now because we're suffering from the lack of good information and data. And now we'll be able to have access to it. We're in private beta now, but in 90 days, we'll have the public launch and everybody will be able to have access to the dashboards. And it's being done through a foundation. So
it's all free, or you're going to charge me?
It is free for certain people. However, some of the industry people are paying for the dashboards basically through donations. So our industry is supporting it. And it's extremely low cost because it's not a for-profit company. All we want to do is cover the server information and stuff. So I think the most any company, even one the size of, like a Lippert or a Forest River, is $3,600 a year is the most we ever asked for. So, but we already have 30 data partners that are sharing data with us, key data partners. So that's really good. And that's who we're private beta testing with. And so, I'm just telling you, it's amazing. The data we're seeing come through and what we're able to do. I had the choice of doing this as a for-profit or doing this as a foundation. I chose doing it as a foundation because the goal really is to help our industry as a whole grow. And that's where my heart is. And so this we'll never turn anybody down. Kind of like a church. You want to show up? Come on. We'll never turn you down. Isn't that right, Jeff?
Does Jeff get it for free, or is Jeff paying for it? That's all I need to know.
I'm charging Jeff double.
I was going to say, I've known Sandy a long time. She'll talk me into paying triple.
Exactly.
So that you can get in free, Brian.
Yeah, well, I need it. I don't have any money. So. All right, let's welcome our other two special guests. We have Cris here. Cris, please introduce yourself. You're muted, Cris. We can't hear you.
So sorry. I'm Cris Risley from Bar Run Golf and RV Resort in Roseburg, Oregon. So we have RVs and tiny homes as well.
How far are you from Portland? That's the only major city I know in Oregon.
We're about 3 hours south of that, right down the I-5.
Like close to Klamath Falls, or I lied, it was Klamath Falls. I know that too.
We're not too far from Klamath Falls, about an hour and a half. So
okay. I'd like to explore more Oregon, but I have too much nice stuff up here in near Calgary and Banff to explore first. So where I live.
No, I got you. Yeah, very nice.
It's a beautiful area of the country. Like I've been to the coast over there a couple times. Seen the, I don't know, it's dunes. Yeah, there's dunes over there on the Oregon coast. Yeah.
Yep. We're about an hour away from there, hour and a half. So.
Last but not least, Ken and Garrett.
Hey guys, I'm Ken Sawyer. My son Garrett.
Howdy, how are you guys doing?
Good. How are you? Introduce yourself.
Good.
You could just go as father and son if you want to, but I feel like you probably have something more important.
Yeah. Yep.
That works too. We build round yurt cabins that are solid walled.
They also come with the integrated flooring system. So what separates us from other yurt manufacturers is it's a legitimate cabin, just with the uniqueness and the shape of a yurt. And they can be placed temporary or permanent, just about anywhere you'd like.
Jeff, ask them a really interesting question. Jeff's a consultant for Camp Strategy. Jeff, ask them a super cool question about like how it's a cabin and not a yurt and a cabin or something like that. Because it sounds like an interesting concept.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeff, you're talking muted. Yep. Can't hear you. Sandy, do you have an interesting question about the yurt cabin while Jeff's trying to figure out how to unmute himself?
Well, yeah, I believe that I've seen you guys at some of the shows, and I really like it. I love the idea that it's got the floor and the walls. How does that compare in pricing and then longevity than the standard yurts?
Our prices are actually a little more due to the fact that it's a solid cabin rather than a yurt tent, more or less. We don't have any lattice or cloth on our structure. We have fabric around the top that is a
PVC woven membrane. It goes by the name Duralast, but it has a 15-year warranty. You don't have to worry about metal like other structures. You don't have to worry about rust. You don't have to worry about dents. But I mean, they're completely customizable. It comes with the flooring system, so it's not an additional charge that's on the side that you don't think about when you initially get it. But it's completely customizable. It comes as a kit, so once it's set up, it comes with your flooring system, your walls, your roof system, and all the nuts, bolts, and screws that you need.
stained or painted any color you want.
Is it wrong
One of the things
that I want to give them a hard time when they say completely customizable and ask if it can be a square tube?
If you'd like to.
Yep.
No, I mean,
After you own it, you can do whatever you want with it.
Then it's a cabin.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea though, right? I mean, because we see that and admittedly, like accommodations and structures are not my strong suit by any stretch of the imagination. It would be cool if like Zach Sittenberg was on here or something who normally appears on one of our other shows. He's an architect. Talk a little bit more about this stuff. And obviously, Jeff, you know a little bit working with all the companies or campgrounds that you do at Camp Strategy and your years in business as a campground owner. But it seems like what we've kind of seen is like this typical, everybody's got a cabin rental. Those have been around for decades, right? Like whether they've been upgraded a little bit and they're different designs and they come from different manufacturers and most of them are on wheels to avoid taxes and permitting and all that kind of stuff. And then we have the glamping, like not all tents, right? But the glamping accommodations that are, a lot of them are made from canvas or some other type of material that, while they're sturdy and good and nothing saying any, not saying anything bad about them, it feels like nobody's really done a hybrid model like this. Is there room for it? Yeah.
Yes, I think so. It addresses some of the issues that people have with the typical yurt, which is the sides are not conducive to long life, and I think maybe you've addressed that problem. Also, the insulating factors, even though they are starting to insulate the yurts and they're getting better at it, they're not getting a good R factor. And depending where you are, uh, you know, just trying to air condition is costing an arm and a leg, trying to keep the units cool, because you're just keep cooling this air and it's going right back out. The roof, people are looking for unique accommodations. Everybody stayed in a park model. Everybody stayed in a cabin. A lot of people have stayed. And, by having it so that you might be able to customize it both with colors, shades, we can blend it into the campground a little bit more or make it stand out a little bit more. And I'm assuming that you have, like some areas of the country, you're going to run into building codes that you're going to have engineering drawings to get them approved.
Yeah, correct.
I'm going through that right now, even though I preach it, and I have a stamped print. The state is still not accepting it. I'm going, it's stamped by your other department.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
And
think we
we
should buy our
work
own country.
specifically.
I think we should buy our own country, Jeff, and just like have no regulations and set up
Well,
campgrounds all over.
You
like
are
that.
you already bought your own country. You're up in Canada,
That's right, yeah.
our 51st state.
Yeah. No, I don't want to be the 51st state, man, because then I would have to also surrender to Iran. But that's a whole other topic. We won't talk about. Let's go back to Ken and Garrett. I'm just messing around. I'm kidding. Ken and Garrett, please. Do you have any comments for what Jeff said?
Yeah, we work specifically with an engineer that's based out of Oregon. He's approved in all 4 states. So if a customer needs wet stamp plans for the foundation or for the cabin itself, or even both, he's able to get that configured for the customer, and we get them. We're approved for climate zones 1 through 6, and we've gotten some in some 7s, but we've got them from the Rockies, extreme cold temperatures, all the way to the brutal heat.
Yep, that's
So
great. And by having the engineering service available, it helps with me if I would be recommending your product, because I don't have to bring in an engineer to design the pads just for your unit. We can fit them into our overall plan, but it cuts out some engineering costs for our customer.
Exactly.
Let me ask this question, because in an era where prices are up for all campground owners in various aspects, insurance and electricity, and I'm sure your accommodations have had to go up a little bit because of the things that are happening in the world, right? I would assume that there's a larger amount of owners today, and most are ROI focused anyway, but there are more today than there were yesterday or last week or 2 months ago, who are looking at accommodation types if they are still buying in this market and saying, like, I need something that's the maximum amount of ROI. So I could buy a cabin that's traditional, it's safe, right? Depending on if I've done my market study or hired a consultant like Jeff, and I know this stuff would work in my area. Or there's the cheaper option, which is not, like, I don't mean to imply it's cheap, but more affordable option in the traditional yurt with the canvas that has less longevity. And then there's you that seem to be slotting right in the middle. So Jeff made a really good point with the air conditioning. Like if you have air conditioning in your yurt, theoretically your design as a cabin hybrid model would save electricity costs. But what's the other incentive for the owner to go with you when money is tight right now?
A lot of it is due to energy efficiency. We have 4 different kinds of insulation in our walls. Our standard is a bad insulation. And then we can also go up to an EN20, which is what the other your companies has, which is a aluminum foil more or less on top of bubble wrap, which has the reflection values, which a lot of people have mixed feelings about that. I'm one of them. We can also do horde foam, which actually, just like the inside of like a Yeti cooler, where it's completely filled, so it's nice, solid. Doing that also glues their entire structure wall, or the wall panel structure, together, so it's a lot more durable. We have 2 up to 5 inches of insulation you can put on the ceiling, which actually helps your R value also. We can do a double dome. Our flooring system has 2x6 pressure treated underneath it, and our large cabin actually has 2x8s, so we can actually fill that void with the insulation of your choice too, depending on your jurisdiction or where you have permitting and insurance, not insurance,
Engineering.
yeah, insulation
Engineering
issues,
specs that need
questions.
to be met, basically.
Well, insurance
So-
is also an issue.
Yes, definitely.
So you guys can probably tell from my intro, I'm a data geek, and I can get lost in data. I would be interesting to know if you found a sweet spot based on like this number of sites at a campground, how many yurts they should buy, because you've seen trends of how easy it is to build the occupancy inside of those. I mean, is it,
They should all be yurts. That you're asking the guys selling the yurts. They should all be yurts.
I want to know what the sweet spot is, because, some may buy 2 when they really need 4. Some might buy 8 when they really need 4. You don't do yourself any service if you oversell them, right? You want to try and help find the right service level for each of the parts based on occupancy and other things. So I just wondered if you'd seen anything like that in your data.
Yeah, we worked with the Colorado State Parks on a project, and they started with 8, and then just after starting with those, they ended up getting another one as well, and they're looking to do more business down the road. But we also worked with another company out of California that started with, I want to say it was 8 as well, but now they're up to just under 20. And I mean, basically for the most part with state parks or even campgrounds, starting off with about 6 and then seeing how you get the feel for it, how they come together, how you can do different interior layouts, they just tend to blow up after that. Because I mean, if you're building in an extremely cold area or extremely hot, I mean, we meet all those specs to keep it either cool or warm, whatever you're looking to aim for.
And like I said, you definitely want variety when you go to a resort or a campground. Just say somebody doesn't like yurts, somebody doesn't like cabins, somebody doesn't like an RV. I mean, that's all opinions, but I mean, you want definitely choices. But I remember back to an article that OHI put out 2 years ago that yurts were the number 1 sought after for uniqueness. And then the next one was cabins due to its structure and safety. And well, we're both of them. So I love that article.
Cris,
Well,
I'm
and
going to
that's
get
how
to you.
one of the, I'm sorry, Brian, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Cris, I'm going to get to you in a second, but Sandy, make your point and then I'll make mine.
Well, I was just going to say, we just have samplings of data right now, but one of the interesting samplings of data we saw when we were only looking at glamping units is for items or for glamping types that did not have the environment secured. They either could get hot or they could get cold. The occupancy obviously went down during those months. Versus like just a cottage, it stayed steady across each of the months based on performance prior year. But yurts also were higher in the months that were good than the cabins were, the occupancy level. So it evened out, which to me, that's something a campground should know. They should know that this type is going to overperform this type in certain areas, but just because it's hot or cold doesn't mean you shouldn't have one. So,
but the in certain area piece is where I think we need to drill down for the owners who are watching, right? Because there's in certain areas from a warm, hot, southwest, northeast, whatever else, seasonality that I think you're talking about, right, Sandy?
That's right. Yes.
And so that's macro versus micro. And so that's where I come into 2 things. I come into what Jeff does, feasibility studies, what's the market, who in the area is going to come to my campground, what's the demographic, are they likely to rent yurts, right? And then 2 is like, we've done some interesting modeling on data on our side where because we know all the pricing of all the places, like Airbnbs and hotels and everything nearby, we can give like a payback time to the owner saying, like, if you buy this unit, this is the average typical rate you can get in, expect to get in the area. This
Right.
payback of that. So I think it's 2 things. It's macro, like you're talking about, Sandy, which is very important, but then micro, which is what Jeff does. Is that fair,
Right.
Jeff?
Yep. Yeah, and I was going to, as far as the question that Sandy asked about how many units and that, I generally will err to a conservative side and then base any additions on the occupancy we're seeing. And you don't want to make it so revenue management works with dynamic pricing. You want to have at least a few units that are all the same. Otherwise, you really can't use dynamic pricing if everything is a one-off.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if you rent that one unit, it's 100% occupied.
Right.
So
You're
we
talking
need
about dynamic pricing on the type of the unit, like there's no differentiating factor is what you're talking about.
No, it won't look at the occupancy of the cabin, like cabins, yurts overall.
Okay.
It looks at specific units. Now, if somebody comes up with that program, Camp Spot, stay Liz, come on.
Disney,
That would be awesome.
Disney probably already has it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, I got you.
I forget who sponsors you, so.
It was interesting just because you said that, and I want you to finish your thought. But we were thinking about this the other day. We were looking at a client, and I won't say where, but they were on a river, and they were looking at their riverside sites and the pricing of that. And then I had somebody ask me, I think it was in a Facebook group, maybe Mark kept Facebook group. Somebody posted about 100 amp. They were building a new resort, and they had
I saw
100
that.
amp at some of the sites, right? And they were asking, is there a difference in price that you would charge for 100 amp? And what we went and looked at our database for that. And there's not many people there's actually like, I don't know, 200 people that say they have 100 amp on the text of their website, but there's only like, I think 5 or 6 that we could find that actually have it as a site type. But the difference maker that we found on the site types was mostly the location and the amenities of the site that were separate from the 100 amp. In other words, the 100 amp were typically more deluxe or premium sites overall, with other things that warranted charging them higher than just saying it's a 100 amp site and charging more for that. Because the customer doesn't really do amperage in their head.
Yeah, I believe
Sandy does. She's running crazy insight companies out of her like RV, and she's like, I need 200 everywhere I go. But besides Sandy, it's right.
Well, I think they were putting those 100 amp in for the future of all electric RVs.
Yeah.
Because Sandy, I know that the RV industry right now has limited 50 amps as the peak.
Yeah.
So, and that's great for, most of the parks, because just trying to get the older parks up to 50 is cost prohibitive. If we have to go to 100 amps, that's a lot of retrofitting. I can see doing a few pads, but that also goes back to all new transformers, everything, to get that 100 amps.
Yeah, and most of my parks that are putting in 100 amp, they're putting it in when they're building it, knowing that the cost is minimal to put in 100 amp over 50 amp. And their reasoning behind that is if the industry tanked, the transient work tanked, they could always put tiny homes on these same sites without having doing any kind of retrofitting. So like a lot of your large park groups, they went in with that plan in mind, thinking, if transient slows down, we can easily bring in and make this a long-term stay or a 55 plus or something like that, because we'll already have it in the ground.
Or a free yurt cabin.
Exactly.
There you go.
What can you guys do with 100 amp service?
Well, you can definitely hook up a mini split to it.
Now, do you guys have when you ship it, it has pre-approved plumbing and everything? The only thing we have to get inspected is the actual electrical connections, sewer connections, and water connections, correct?
Yeah, more or less. So when the cabin is delivered, it's delivered as a kit. So it's on palletized crates, and then once it's set up, I mean, it's super. Basically, however high end, low end, minimalist you want to go with it. But when it comes to the electrical, the plumbing, you can either feed that through the flooring system itself, or you can even do like a 2x4 framing in the walls, 2x6 framing in the for interior walls, even lofts. But it just depends on how you want to set up the layout per se. But Ken actually works on a designing app to help customers visualize how they can, like, how they want to do their floor system with or floor plans with like the
like layout walls.
Right.
Basically, like if you had a idea you wanted, say, 2-person occupancy, I want a bathroom and a small kitchen, but I want a king size bed and I want 30 square foot bathroom or 100 square foot bathroom. Just basically lay that out. Let me know what your parameters are, and I can actually plot it into my program and tell you what size cabin would be the best for you if you wanted extra room. That way you don't get like our 22 wall cabin to 716 square feet for dual occupancy. That would be kind of large. But you could definitely do multiple bedrooms for kids, etc. But it's basically a way to lay it out so you can see it on paper without having it in your hands.
Any possibility of making them 2-story, which is something no other yurt can do?
We've actually had a client that has put it on a full walkout basement.
Okay.
He was a bricklayer, and that was his retirement home. So
Okay.
it's on our website. It's really cool.
All right. I may go.
I actually just designed another one that goes on a walkout basement that has it's like a 9-10 foot ceiling on it in the basement. So we can do multiple
because
ideas, I guess.
For a public property, they want to go 2 stories, but keep the space minimum, so they're not using as much property, but build up so that they can get the capacity. So it'd be great, because that's one thing I can't do with a park model. So you would be competing against site built, which factories should be site built any day.
We've actually we've had the idea of stacking them, which would be kind of cool. But I'm also coming up with another wall. Instead of being 8 foot tall wall, it's at least a 12 foot tall wall, or if not even taller than that, so we can actually get that second story in there without being crowded in the upstairs, more or less.
All right, that makes sense too.
Cris, what do
And
you
we've had.
You said you had some accommodations at your campground, right?
What was that?
Cris, what do you think about all this? You said you had some accommodations at your campground, right?
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. We have 6 tiny homes, 4 that are traditional and 2 that are containers. One 40-foot container with a couple bump outs, then another one that is 2 20-foot containers set up like a cube. And what's interesting, they're all get used a lot, or the occupancy is pretty good, but there it is significantly less. Those 2 are less than the ones that are more traditional cabin style tiny homes. So, but I am interested in the yurt thing. I'm going to check out your website because we have 2 more spaces on where we have all of our tiny homes set up to put in a couple more. So be looking at that.
Awesome. We'll hook you up with a deal.
Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead. Okay, so just to confirm, Cris, you said the cabin rentals you have at your park are rented more often than the unique container homes?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, right now in season, from Memorial Day to Labor Day, they're all booked all the time. I mean, I can't find it. It'd be hard to find more than one day in a row where I could get somebody in there.
It's interesting to me that you said, that piqued my interest, because we do a lot with, Sandy does Sandy's just doing data. We do a different kind of data, right? But we've looked at some of those different models, and every data point that we've seen tends to lean toward the more unique an accommodation, the more people want to try it. Doesn't mean they'll necessarily come back a second time, but it means they want to try it because they've never tried something before.
Exactly.
No, I would agree with that to a degree. Yeah, I mean it just comes into, because some of our cabins will sleep 8, some will sleep 4, one will sleep 2, comfortably. But most of them all have a pull-out couch too, so I guess it's 4. But it gets to kind of what you want. I mean, if you've got, a couple of kids, you want a little bit bigger one where, like I say, the 40-foot container, it's got 2 rooms, but the one room is really small. So, and the cube, the one we call the cube, the mine for us, is 2 20-foots, and it's basically like a hotel room, hotel suite. That's all it really is. So,
okay.
Like the bathroom is big, bedroom.
Cris, do you have any feeling for how many people are booking the cabins that are traveling with somebody else that has an RV and maybe they don't, versus just independently booking the cabins?
We don't necessarily, we do track that to a degree, or we are aware of that. I mean, it happens a lot because we have a big bunch of groups that will come in, and people that don't have an RV, they'll want to be a part of the group. So we do have a couple of spots where they can actually park next to the cabins, and they have or they can just right across from them there. But that does happen quite often.
Okay.
So what else do you have going on at your park, Cris?
So we have an 18-hole golf course, which all our cabins are on the 18th hole there now around the green. We have a huge, I think it's the largest lazy river in Oregon, in a pool in the big pool in Lazy River on the property. So it's a big draw.
Is it a moving lazy river, or is it like
Oh, yeah.
you have to do all the okay? Because that was I remember when I don't want to say I was a kid, but I had to have been a lot younger than I was now. I think I was taking my stepdaughter to a water park or whatever. I think it was SeaWorld in, honestly, Jeff, in Ohio. I think it's where it was.
Oh, okay. I know that.
I don't know, whatever. It was some kind of water park. Anyway, I remember the 2 differences between lazy rivers. The ones I hated were the ones you got in and they were beautiful, but you had to paddle yourself somehow, and they weren't really lazy. I felt like you had to do work. And then there was the one that I went to. I can't remember what park it was. It just had enough of a current that was strong enough you could just sit back and actually be lazy. That's the ones I like.
No, we have 3 jets, 3 pumps that we could turn on that can actually move it around. We typically run with just 2, but it goes around pretty good.
Okay, yeah,
enjoying that.
So
I'm definitely coming to visit.
Oh, come on down.
Sounds like I'm here right at the perfect season.
Oh, yeah.
Are you driving right now, Sandy? You're in the chair.
No, we're parked right now. If we were driving, I'd be turning the wheel towards Oregon already.
That's what I'm saying. You got to go out, take your cell phone, go out, disconnect. Let's go. The lazy.
Hey, listen. Next month, I'll show you video of Chris's park.
Right, Cris. How big is your park? How many sites?
Well, originally we got approved for 150 sites, but we right now have 76 sites to include our cottages. Their ownership, they own a sand and gravel company, which is we're on that property. In fact, it's 100 yards over my right shoulder is where it's at, and so they're going to actually pick that up and move that whole outfit over to. They have another asphalt plant. They're going to go move that 10 miles away. Then we're going to build up because we have the South Umpqua River that we're adjacent to here, which is really truly the biggest lazy river in Oregon is the South Umpqua.
Yeah.
But we're going to start building up around that too. So the other 80 some odd spaces.
So are you finding that? Sorry, Brian. Cris, are you finding that most of the people that come are coming for the golf and just happen to be RVers?
So we're going to do right around 30,000 rounds of golf this year. And if our numbers hold true, it'll be probably about 24% of all the rounds are going to be RVers. Okay. So, but most of the RVers are coming for the RV experience in the lazy river, to be fair.
Yep. Are you doing any events around golfing?
We do a lot of outside events, tournaments, and things of that nature.
And do they have to be a part coming and staying in the campground, or you just let them use the golf course?
They can both ways.
Okay.
You can come in and stay and play golf, or just pass through and play golf. We get a lot of people that'll come to go to the Bandon Dunes Resort. They'll fly into Eugene and then come down and play us on the way in or play us on the way back out. And same with California, they'll come up and head over there. So
I think it's did you build the campground on the reclaimed mining, or was it just spare land?
No, reclaimed mining.
Okay, I have a client that we're working with right now doing that, filing the permits. So I might have to come out and take a look at your property.
Yeah, come on out. You can see it everywhere. In fact, when we had a major flood last year, last March, and 85% of the golf course was underwater. And the water came really close to the RV park. In fact, we had some people stay in the RV park still at the time. They didn't leave, and they were on an island for about 3 days before the water receded enough so we can get them out. But and so we had to replant everything and do a bunch of different things. But we'll go on spots on the golf course out there, and you'll go down 8 inches, and there's a big chunk of asphalt. Where we've had to come back and people bring filled dirt back in, and it's pretty unique. I mean, that's our whole theme, is a mining type theme around everywhere. So
yeah, because I've done some projects on reclaimed land before, and I always have rocks coming back up through the surface, or concrete with rebar, and it's like, ooh, that's not even supposed to be here, but
yeah. In fact, we made a big we call it the chimenea. We took a cement truck, the mixing tube on a cement truck, turned it upside down or on its end, cut big holes in it, and then put propane heating things in the bottom of it. So we have a 1 million BTU furnace in there and we built a pavilion around it for people to come and hang out in. And that's right next to our tiny homes over there. And that's fire that up on a timer and all that. So like I say, everything's themed towards mining and concrete and things like that.
Okay. Sounds interesting.
Yeah. What have you seen as far as like has anything changed this year as far as the economy or occupancy or consumer behavior? Are they sticking closer to home? Have you noticed anything on the RV cabin side, or is it pretty much the same for you?
Pretty much the same. It's a slight increase, actually, to be fair, because we're finding, or we're assuming that people would rather come do instead of taking a big long trip somewhere, they could take a shorter trip and come stay here on a vacation, 3, 4, or 5 days, however long it is, cheaper than they can go to, some other big long destination place.
For sure. So, okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. What else we got going on, Jeff and Sandy? What else do you want to talk about for the rest of the show?
Well, I know, Sandy, this had been a point of interest for you. It's the new electrical code that's coming up with the RVs, and trying to inform campground owners about it's not that bad, but you're going to have to prep to get ready for it. You've got a window, but and attrition is going to cover you for a while, but eventually everything's going to have to be this way.
Yeah, and there's a lot of changes coming out. So by the time information gets put out, and then RVIA or whoever does a press release, it's already old and it's bad. So I'm actually working with multiple associations right now, directly with the people that are writing the code, to give them the information they need, because so much false information is coming out. And so, basically when NEC changes it, we know it right then. We don't have to wait for somebody else to kind of tell us what's going on. But you're absolutely right. The parks do need to be able to be aware of it. It is a major change in the code. And so just because you're building a new park and putting in new 50 amp posts does not mean that you will pass the code. because if they're not using, there's 3 standards to the code now. One of them relates to the RV park. If you are not building to the RV park code, you will fail, which means that any new unit that comes in and plugs in will not operate. So the first thing is just letting people know this could happen. And if you have somebody complaining that they're not getting power, that's the first thing to check. The other thing is not to panic, because now they've moved the date out to 2028. And so we're still out to 2028 now. The other thing is that first year, there's probably only going to be 30,000 units total of the 350,000 they'll produce that are going to have this new setup in it. So we don't have to panic, but we do need to be aware. And so, the numbers keep changing. So there's no way to actually tell them what dollar amount to prepare for yet. So I'm telling them, if they just set aside $1,000, every quarter potentially, and just set it aside, that should equal the setup for one, if everything is needed, if all the guts and everything have to be replaced.
Set up for one site?
You'll be ready.
Set up for one site.
Yes, and I'm way overestimating, because right now they're saying potentially 500, and where some of the questions come in is any electrician going to be able to come in and do it? Is a DIYer campground owner going to be able to do it? Is it going to require a special installation? I think what's on the table right now, what they want is special installation, which what that means is if you're an electrician and you're certified, you can take an online course to get certified. It's not expensive. I think it's maybe $150, but then you can only order the parts to retrofit these old posts if you have a certification. So it's going to be quite a while before the DIYer is going to be able to buy anything on an aftermarket without a certification. So we just need to watch for that. But again, it means, setting aside, I tell my parks, think through your most, popular sites and make sure one of those sites is actually going to be ready from day one. Right. Just one. And then and hold that as long as you can, so that if somebody does come in.
Right. So what you're saying is park owners basically have 2 choices. They can either save some money and jump through a bunch of regulations, or they can just say, forget all the new people. We just want people with older than 10 years RVs, and we'll be fine for 10 years.
Well, and that's the other thing. One of the things that I'm talking to all the property management softwares about is, will they consider putting into their reservation software, like if a site is whatever this new code number is, certified. So for instance, if someone is searching and it has because we're already collecting year, make, model. So if we're collecting the year, it can actually prompt and say, does your coach require this? And they will know it because they're going to put stickers on it, because we forced that through. It'll have a sticker on it. So they will know. We can just tell them easily, go look at your hookup. If you have this sticker, you're going to have this kind of hookup. That way, at least a guest won't make a reservation on a site that they will not be able to hook up to. And it kind of takes that pain away from the park. Now, it also will lose the park that reservation. They have to understand that. But at least they're not dealing with somebody who's coming in and mad at them. The other thing it'll do for my parks is, as sad as it is losing that reservation, I want to set it in so that there'll be a report inside each of the property management softwares that says you lost a reservation today because. And so then my parks can start doing their own analysis and saying, look, I lost 10 site nights this month. Because I think for a lot of parks, it's going to be months before they're actually hit with it. Because it's such a small percentage of overall traffic. But we need to get ready and understand it.
Right. And I think what you're talking about, Sandy, is that they don't have to panic because it's market over a 10-year period. So they've got 10 years to retrofit almost all of their sites. But in the next year or two, they should at least get 10 to 15 sites ready for the new vehicles so
Right.
that they can accommodate them.
Yes.
And
But can you
that
do that
cuts
now?
down the
Like,
cost.
No,
is the
you can't do it
information
now.
out there?
No, you cannot do anything now that the device that's going to go on the unit is not even created and approved yet. So therefore you can't create the, the adapter or whatever, because we don't have, that's why it's pushed out to 2028 now. Then you got to find the supplier who's going to make that unit for the OEMs. And then the one that's going to make it for the retrofitting. So we're still a while out. But again, it's so much easier if they'll just set a little bit aside for that, then they'll be ready.
What is for those who don't know the backstory to this, what is the purpose of the RV industry doing this or pushing this? Why the change?
Well, ultimately the bottom line came from liability and safety. I mean, that's what RVIA is responsible for, is codes and standards relating to liability and safety. And so we had so many newer units going into parks where they didn't have the proper electrical. And so some of those, fires that happened and things like that caused this UL board to start looking at, do we need something else, I think. And so kind of Pandora's box got opened. They started looking at it, and then they said, hey, because we're getting bigger, more powerful units, or even smaller, more powerful units, let's look at the code altogether. And so that's what they did. They started looking at the code itself and said, let's rewrite all of it. And then, of course, RVIA jumped in and has tried to help, because, yes, they do work on the industry side, but they understand this is going to impact the campground side. So they're trying to make campgrounds aware of it early enough that they can do something actionable.
I mean, I'm thinking about this from the consumer perspective. Like, if I'm a consumer, and let's just say this gets implemented in 2028, and maybe in the 2029 model year, I can buy one of these, and then I'm ready to go out camping, and I realize I can only go 2% of the places in the entire United States. I thought I could go with my new RV. I'm going to be pissed.
Well, and that is, right now the date is spring launch in 2028 when they'll be out there. That's the date that they're working towards now. But you're absolutely right. I would be very, very concerned if I bought this unit and there was nowhere I could go, because there is no backing down. There's no retrofit. If you buy this unit, you absolutely cannot plug into a standard 50 amp setup. It has to have this new GMI interrupt in it.
That's going to be a mess.
Yeah.
That's going to be a mess.
And that's why we're trying to get all the information out and get the information out right. Because, of course, I'm using AI all the time, and there's a huge value to it. But every time somebody posts something, AI is writing an article and putting it out there on a blog automatically that nobody's looking at. And there's so much disinformation that it is really creating a panic.
You know what I think is easier, Sandy? I've thought about this the whole time you're talking. I think the easiest solution is to just buy a Freedom Yurt cabin, and you don't have the problems.
There you go. Exactly.
Can I put that on top of my car?
All right, let's spend the last few minutes asking each other questions like we typically do. So we'll start with you, Jeff. Jeff, do you have a question for either Ken and Garrett, Sandy, or Cris?
Cris, I look at the size of your park. It's 76 sites, and you have a lazy river. Do you have a pool also?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Okay. Because I'm trying to take the cost of the lazy river and the pool and some of that over top of having only 76 sites, and trying to figure out the ROI on that. Obviously you're doing well, and you're also going to have West Coast rates, which helps. But it just, that's a lot of capital investment. If you're growing, I understand it. If you're going to go up to almost double size, I kind of understand it. But
so what's your question?
My question is how they figured out
Secret
what
sauce.
amenities to put
Your
in.
secret sauce.
So what?
How
I said
they figured out the ROI to justify the investment in it is your question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, when we first built this, it wasn't really we didn't want a square pool, and our pool designer is a local guy from here that came in, and he's like, yeah, I'll do something neat, right? I'll do something pretty awesome, and it just kept growing and growing and growing, and it just got to something that none of us expected it to be what it is, and then once you're in at one point at a certain thing, well, we're in for a penny, in for a pound,
Yeah.
so. Yeah,
So I
it is pretty. It's hard to describe. You really have to see it.
Okay.
And I think on our website there's some good pictures of it, but it still doesn't do it justice. It is pretty awesome. As far as the return on investment there, I don't think we've calculated that out yet. It's going to be there. And this is a family-owned property that they have zero intention of selling.
Okay.
I think the grandkids will be dealing with that, owning and operating this for years to come. So,
Yeah, it's just that I look at stuff, and Sandy kind of knows this, that I'm financially driven on almost every decision, but sometimes aesthetics takes precedence, and the guest experience. So, and I think where you guys went.
That's exactly where it turned out to be, where it's just, well, yeah, I mean, it is kind of over the top type of neat, because everything's concrete when you look at it in there, from it. Oh, that's a wood structure or anything like that. And that's actually all concrete. They carved it out to make it look like wood and all that stuff. And I mean, and everything on it is designed. There's something where it goes back to something. We have three bridges in the lazy river, and they're all mimicking something on the course or something around. I mean, it's themed. I would encourage everyone just to see it. I mean, it is pretty neat. So and I assume also
you had connections with concrete companies and stuff, so your cost was probably a little less than other people.
Yeah, it was just 200-yard concrete drive over to dump the concrete. So
I think what your answer is, Jeff, is that he's operating his campground like an AI company. They'll just trust that one day they'll make money and they can spend billions, and the ROI will eventually be there. That's the new way of doing finances, Jeff. You don't actually need to have a plan.
Yeah. Hope is a plan.
Well, that's I am an aging out animal, so. AI will
go public and take everybody's money, and then it'll be fine. One day you'll figure it out. I'm not saying we
have many days left.
Okay, me next. I have a question.
Okay. Well, wait, we got to get to you, Sandy. Hold on, Cris has got to ask a question. We got to go in order. Cris has got to ask the question first. So, Cris, do you have a question for Jeff or Ken and Garrett?
I do for Ken and Garrett. There is like let's say we ordered a yurt. How long would it take to have it built and shipped to us?
Our average is basically 60 to 90 days out, depending on what time of year. Obviously, during the middle of summer is the worst time to place an order because that's our busiest season. If you wanted to we wanted the cabins up and running for next year, by all means, put a fall order in. We can build it over the winter, and they'll be ready to ship when you are, when the roads are clear and the land's cleared, ready to go. But if you wanted one, like place the order today, how soon can I have it? We're a month or two out right now. So.
All right, Ken and Garrett, do you have a question for Sandy or Jeff? We're doing process of elimination here, so everybody gets a question.
No, I love what you guys do. I mean, the fireside chats are great, and if I can work with any of you guys on the sidelines, by all means, we can connect.
Well, that's a statement. Do you have a question for Jeff or Sandy? Is anything you want to know?
No. Well,
how long ago did you
ask will you work with me? That would be could be a question, but sorry, please go ahead.
You're good. How long ago did you begin that project, Cris?
Well, it was about now probably 12 to 15 years ago. We opened the golf course in 2021. It was July 10th of 2021. 10 holes, and then we wanted to open the RV park sooner. RV park's been running for 3 years now, the pool 2 years. And we had people staying in the RV park before we're even done. But officially we opened, like I say, 10 July of 21, and then 10 July of 22, we opened up a full 18 and really started getting people to stay. And then this is probably our second real year of having the RV park basically done. So, I mean, we just finished off adding 8 more, what we call overflow spots. They're pouring in asphalt right now as we speak. So.
Awesome. Yeah. I love the concept that you got going on.
Thank you.
Hey,
Okay,
I've
Sandy,
got a hard stop at 3, Brian, so I've got to drop.
ask your question real quick before you go.
Well, I was going to ask you, what's the most current project you have going on that's the hottest, newest thing? Because you're my lead on AI, so I always have to get my inside scoop from you.
I don't know. I'm actually, like, honestly, I do play with AI every single day.
I
haven't
know.
been leaning too much into AI. Like, I've been using AI to code things. So that's where we're focused on, is like the data research side of, like, figuring out how to provide analytics and research and proprietary information to campgrounds, that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
Like using AI to do the coding piece of that, because AI models are pretty much stable where they are right now. Like, you're going to see leaps, and then those leaps will get taken away by the federal government, who shut down Claude's newest model. But, like, there's leaps somewhere that we don't have access to. But it's pretty much the same now. Everything's like, there will be advancements, but you're not going to see a leap up in, like, better writing or better coding. It's just going to be incremental now. So I think now we just build with it.
All right. Bye, guys. It was nice to meet all of you.
Bye, Sandy.
Thanks,
Still want to
Sandy.
talk to you.
Jeff, any final thoughts? And then we're going to learn more about camp strategy.
I think my final thoughts is this is going to be an interesting season. Don't get discouraged. The people are still out there. You might want to bring your marketing in a little closer, unless we get a change in the gas prices, which might be coming here shortly. But we're finding the travel windows have cut down a little bit, so you might want to pull your marketing in just a little bit to reach people that are and concentrate in an area that's not too far a drive.
And where can they learn more about camp strategy?
You can go to campstrategy.com. That's our website. It's just been revamped, so it should be an awesome new looking site.
Awesome. Thanks for being here as always, Jeff. Cris, any final thoughts, and where can they learn more about your campground, RV park, and golf resort?
No, just our website at barrungolf.com. And thanks for having me. It's nice to meet everybody. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for being here, Cris. I appreciate you. And last but not least, Ken and Garrett, where can they, or any final thoughts, and where can they learn more about Freedom Yurt Cabins?
We've actually just launched a new website also about 2 months ago, and it's got a cabin builder on it, so you can actually go and design your own cabin, colors, etc., and uploads it. It gives you a PDF right there. It also emails the guys and lets them know that you're interested. And
Cool.
What's your website?
freedomyurtcabins.com.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you for joining us for another episode of MC Fireside Chats. Normally we'd be doing another podcast later this afternoon with Scott Barr from Outwire, but we both have some previous commitments, things that we've got going on, so we're going to skip this week. We'll be back next week. Other than that, thank you for joining us for another episode of MC Fireside Chats. Appreciate everybody being here, and we'll see you all next week. Take care, guys.
Awesome.
Great
Thanks, guys.
seeing you, Brian.